Hey, how's it going, guys? So we're back with more Fallout lore and by the Storyteller. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. And as always, like I said, I'm pretty much starting out every single video like this. Every time I watch something from the Storyteller, rest in peace to Storyteller. So today we're gonna be checking out 4 more videos, and the first one is called the Survivalist. Second one is called Cannibalism. The third one is a acronym. It says FEV, but I can't read it off the thumbnail because it's too small. And the fourth one is called Gary. I don't know who that is. So we're gonna be checking out all 4 videos, and we'll just see how it goes. Because, like I said in the first episode, I really like how the Storyteller changed up the concept this time. How it's a survival guide, so instead of him just sitting around the campfire and just talking, it's like him actually going to the places and being more interactive and showing who he is. So I really like that. And I'm really excited to see all 4 videos, because I don't know who the Survivalist is. Cannibalism, I know what that is. FEV, don't know. Gary, don't know. So this is I'm going into this mostly blind. So without anything else, let's check out the Survivalist.
Zion National Park was a nice place to visit back before the war.
Oh, right. My bad.
A valley where folk came to turn off their Pip-Boys and pretend they were roughing it. Some of the people in the back when times didn't think of camping as a vacation, though. They saw it as a way of life, taking pleasure in training their survival skills. Randall Dean Clark, a U.S. Army soldier, was one such survivalist. He was lucky enough to be a few miles away from Zion Park when the Great War began. He was a family man, but he also loved to spend his time alone in the woods. He was coming back to his family when the bombs fell. He witnessed Salt Lake City, his home, and his family incinerated.
Oh.
He knew the park would provide refuge in the aftermath. He survived deep within a cave here as the fallout settled over the dying world outside. He kept journals of his time alone, typed into computers hidden all over the valley.
So he already had the mental fortitude, the capabilities, and the skills to survive in the outside, because he loves the outdoors. I have 2 friends who are like that. They love camping. They like being out in the outdoors more than they like being indoors, like in a house or an apartment. Because they said that they're very extroverts, so they don't like being just cooped up and being a homebody. I'm a homebody, so I'm kind of like the total opposite of them. But for them, they have to be out there. They have to be outside. They love it. It just feels more natural to them.
Only a handful of entries over the course of decades. A man of few words who never suspected that his thoughts would be read by strangers 100 years after his death. Yet, through his tale of survivor's guilt and suicidal episodes, he inadvertently told the history of the tribals who live here now.
Kind of looks like...
After close to 20 years alone in Zion...
Oh, I don't know why, but with the headband and at this angle with the beard, he kind of looks like Sergeant Frank Woods from Call of Duty.
Tribals who live here now. After close to 20 years alone in Zion with nothing but mutated bighorners, Clark discovered a band of survivors had moved into his private paradise in 2095.
Yeah, it looks like Frank
Woods. He
Woods.
Moved silently through the park and saw them long before they saw him. There was a language barrier, and Clark wasn't able to directly communicate with his new neighbors. He helped them when he could, silently and always unseen, leaving gifts of medicine and supplies. Despite his efforts to keep them safe, they were killed by a band of savage vault dwellers in February 2096.
Vault 22?
They came from Vault 22, or at least that's what we can assume based on the Vault Tech jumpsuits found on bodies scattered around Zion. Vault 22 was an experiment in botany that might have turned the Mojave into a garden as lush as Zion, but it ended up working a little too well. Some of the residents hightailed it out of there and tried to take Zion for their own. They committed atrocities against the settlers who had come here first. Even though he was outnumbered, Clark took his revenge. He had spent his life surviving in the wild, not cooped upside a vault that provided everything he needed at the touch of a button. For 11 months he killed them before they fled in early 2097, leaving him alone once more in his empty Garden of Eden. Well, not entirely alone. One of the women from Vault 22 remained behind, and she soon became Clark's second wife. She would have made him a father for the second time, too, but a complication in her pregnancy only made him a widower twice over.
Oh, I see.
That would be his last face-to-face contact with other people. The park drew more visitors as Clark's beard began to turn gray. Most were unsuitable as companions, and Zion's guardian eradicated them. However, in his elderly years, Clark found the opportunity to share the knowledge he had learned before the war and afterward.
I say that's a blessing in a way, the fact that he was able to live that long in a post-apocalyptic world, because, you know, in a post-apocalyptic world, the life expectancy is that much shorter. But for him, he's able to go from a certain age all the way to like grow old. So he was able to survive that long. He's that skilled, and also he's that blessed.
In 2108, a new generation of children arrived in Zion, born after the war and unaccompanied by any adults, maybe raised in a vault with no grown-ups. For 16 years, Clark watched over them, but never revealed himself. Didn't want to let them learn that their mysterious benefactor was just an old man on his last legs. He wrote them letters, gave them books and supplies, almost everything he had to ensure that they would grow into good people. And that they did. Their descendants became the tribe now called the Sorrows, and they still view him as a supernatural force that watches over them. In a sense, he still is. After decades of tending Zion, he knew his life was drawing to a close, so he found a spot high above Zion where his children wouldn't discover him, and allowed age, disease, and the elements grant him the death he could never inflict on himself. He's rested here for over a century, his last journal entry with him. Too modest a man to take credit for his good deeds while he was still alive, but he hoped that someone would learn the tale someday. What? Oh, you don't want to know what those savages from Vault 22 did to those other settlers. Like I said, it was an atrocity, and Mr. Clark avenged it. What they did is considered a crime against nature by most people. But they do that kind of thing all over the Wasteland.
Oh, it's the next video.
Some fight against the impulse, while others embrace it, try to control it. But that is a story for another day.
Yep. As soon as he said commit atrocities, wait, I just want to see this. Oh, it's the ending like that. As soon as he said like commit atrocities, and I forgot where it is, but like one of the images like showing like limbs are on the grill, and right there, like limbs are on the grill, and them torn apart. And the next title of the video is called Cannibalism. I started getting the idea like what it is, but before we go on, I just want to say like, dude, this man, he was very like humble. He just like wanted to like do good deeds, but he never took like any credit. So the fact that Clark just like spent years just like helping people, but he never just wanted to like, but his like intentions was just like help, but don't want to be seen. And he died peacefully the way he wanted. This man actually had an amazing life, even though he unfortunately lost his family twice. His first family and his second wife. So it's unfortunate, but at least it shows that there are still some good people in a post-apocalyptic world. All right, let's go into the second video, which is Cannibalism and the atrocities committed by Vault 22.
Cram! It's the mystery meat with a different taste adventure in every bite. Is it pork? Chicken? Beef? You never know with Cram. Cram is made with parts of real animals just like the ones you see on farms. And it's processed with advanced meat recovery methods only possible with state-of-the-art slaughtertrons. It's good enough for our boys on the front line, so it must be good enough for your kids at home. Every box contains 20 grams of protein and a free Captain Cosmos decoder ring. Cram! Cram some down your gullet today.
The New Vegas Strip is known for gambling, chems, and leggy showgirls. Most people see it as a pleasure pit for the lowest of humanity's urges.
He's in New Vegas now?
The fellow who runs the town is hoping to appeal to a more sophisticated crowd, too. The Ultralux caters to tourists who want a taste of the sweet life. The casino has roulette and blackjack, But the real gambling happens in the restaurant, where their uninhibited chef, Philippe, serves cuts of exotic meats from all over the wasteland. Take it from me, if you ever visit the place, skip the meat and stick to the salad bar. What I mean, Edna, is that before Robert House cleaned up Vegas, there were lots of cannibals here. Now they're all apparently gone, though there are still some fiends in the outskirts of town that are quite open about eating people. These dandies in the White Glove Society can play dress-up, but they were nothing but savages prowling the ruins of Vegas just a few years ago.
Yeah, I still remember that in like one of the previous videos that he did of like how House like brought in tribal like groups and how like they were very, as he said, savage and just like very animalistic, but then he like converted them into more civilized and gentlemanlike in a manner of speaking.
Cannibalism is practiced all over the wasteland, sometimes out of necessity.
To survive.
One notable wastelander even made a snack out of their own toe. There are also people who do it because of an irresistible urge to consume the flesh and blood of other humans.
Oh, nice.
Now, if you want something that's good and hot, just eat a hamburger, it'll hit the spot. You can see 'em on the griddle going flippity-flop.
Why did they have to choose this song for it? And by the way, if you guys don't hear anything, again, it may be due to copyright reasons.
Makes you want to do the boogie to the hamburger hop. They're open up 24 hours a day. Just waiting and hoping all the folks will say, put a burger on the griddle, do a flippity-flop. Put an onion in the middle and a pickle on top.
Human shish kebab?
Don't kill me!
In the old world, there used to be a place called Transylvania. Storybooks claim that it was home of men who
Dracula.
changed into wolves on nights when the full moon shone, and winged creatures flew through the night on bat-like wings.
Yeah, Dracula's home.
Mythical vampires drank the blood of their victims and shunned the sunlight. It was just a story, but the thing about mutations is that each throw of the genetic dice has a small chance of creating a dramatic mutation, like vampirism. Or hematophage, as the Poindexters call it. Out east in the capital wasteland, there was a man named Vance who came out ahead in the genetic lottery. He was born with the ability to regenerate himself through drinking blood, and also had charisma and a knack for finding people who shared his cannibalistic tendencies. Vance knew that he and his kind were cursed with the urge to commit a crime against nature, so he created his own society with laws to temper their hunger. He and his followers didn't eat flesh and only drank blood. They never preyed on children and did not breed so that they would not inflict their curse upon their children. Vance taught his flock to only feed for sustenance and never hunt for pleasure. Above all, they never killed another member of their kind. Not exactly the Bill of Rights, but this family of vampires were a step above other cannibal clans.
Yeah, I mean, besides the drinking blood part, sounds like they had morals and rules.
Although they could walk in the sunlight, they chose not to, and made a home for themselves underground. From there, they used Vance's unique gifts to gather other cannibals for their family and train them in the ways of the vampire. Despite Vance's good intentions, the family still preys upon villages near their lair. They kill people, and it's small consolation in their victims that the family only drinks their blood. Seems like some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement could be worked out, but it's only a matter of time before some self-righteous Van Helsing type charges into the family's lair and cuts loose with a flamethrower. No, Edna, vampires don't eat robots. I've been all over this wasteland, and I've never seen anyone eat a robot.
By the way, judging by like the look of the person that just like ran in, it kind of looked like a vault dweller suit. So can you like run into these people like in a certain Fallout game? Please let me know in the comments.
There's some awful peculiar mutations out there, but nothing that makes people feed on iBots. I'm not saying it's impossible. After all, that base in Mariposa produced plenty of mutated curiosities. Some of them did things most folk couldn't imagine. But that is a story for another day.
So FEV, I wonder what that's called. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised because if you see like most post-apocalyptic like movies, games, and things like that, cannibalistic group is always like one of the common factors or common groups that would always like appear. So in post-apocalyptic worlds, there's always like a religious group, there's always a cannibalistic group, there's always a raiders, and there's also another group who just wants to like stick to the old world and try to do good. So now with cannibalism done, let's jump into FEV.
Of the Pacific
Whoops.
in California, a ways east of the Pacific coast, are the remains of a town once called Mariposa. There's a military base outside the town, little more than a hole in the ground these days, but it has played a pivotal role in the Wasteland's destiny time and time again. I know most of you were born there.
Oh, super
Reborn.
mutants.
But Marcus tells me that some of you are having trouble remembering things. You can't always figure out what's real and what's not, so I'm here to give you all a refresher course in mutant history.
You talk a lot. Sound funny when you talk like a stupid human.
Yes, as I was saying. When I visited the Mariposa base a few years ago, there was little more than the bones of a few dead super mutants, deformed rats, and the skeleton of some old dog lying next to a broken down force field generator. But deeper down, much deeper, I saw firsthand the secrets that spawned both the super mutants and the Brotherhood of Steel. Back before the Great War, the facility was used to experiment with the forced evolutionary virus.
Oh,
The
right.
big
FEV, forced evolutionary. I forgot about that.
vats are destroyed now, but you can still find some of it deep below the ground. Long before the Master came, the FEV was created by the United States government in an attempt to generate useful mutations. The government used its own citizens as guinea pigs, prisoners and commie sympathizers, but Americans nonetheless. Captain Roger Maxson, the founder of the
Founder of the
Brotherhood, was
Brotherhood, yep.
stationed there before the war, a simple soldier in the security detail. But when men under his command found out what the scientists were doing to his comrades in arms, they rebelled, and Maxson soon became their leader. Eventually, they became the first members of the Brotherhood of Steel. When the nuclear holocaust took place a few days later, Maxson led his soldiers and their families out into the wasteland, leaving the Mariposa base behind. They sealed the place up as best they could and activated automated security measures, but with no one on hand to maintain it all, eventually people and critters made their way inside. The pre-war scientists never quite succeeded with their experiments. It took a more advanced mind to control the effects of FEV mutation. Decades after the Great War, the future master fell into those vats, and when he emerged, he picked up where they left off. It eventually created most of you. Then, the Vault Dweller located the place, and...
I'm so sorry.
But that was a long time
I'm so
ago.
sorry.
The Vault Dweller is long dead.
Yes, too fun.
Most
I like how his audience are super mutants, and also on top of that, he mentioned the Vault Dweller. And what I just saw on one of the images of the Vault Dweller, like somewhere around here, like right here, it looked like he had the number 13 on it, on his back. So is this someplace you can go to in New Vegas or one of the Fallout games? That's my question.
people never knew of the base's existence in the years afterwards, but the Enclave had the resources to locate the origins of the FEV, and they went to Mariposa to secure a sample for their own devious purposes. The Enclave kept their soldiers and scientists protected from the FEV, but their slave laborers, miners kidnapped from the town of Redding to excavate the lower levels, had no such protection from the goo that survived the decades.
Man.
Slowly, those poor workers began to mutate. Sadly, that second generation of super mutants didn't have the master guiding their transformation. He had carefully chosen his subjects before dipping them, but this second generation was composed of anyone unfortunate enough to be pressed into the Enclave service. The results were mixed. The second generation was as big, sometimes even bigger, but much less intelligent. That's why some super mutants in New California can get along with humans, while others are.
Oh, he wants a bighorn.
In fact, some of the original super mutants even call the second generation
Don't hurt Edna.
dum-dums.
Stupid robot.
But a few of this new batch ended up developing abilities that would have made the Master proud.
Silly robot.
When the Chosen One was searching for the Enclave's headquarters 40 years ago, they stumbled across the Mariposa
Yeah, Vault
base
13.
and discovered some second-generation mutants still trapped inside after the Enclave blasted the entrance. The Chosen One fought a mutant named Melchior, who could summon creatures out of the FEV goo, just like a magician pulling rabbits out of a glowing green hat. At least, that's what the Chosen One claimed. No one
Oh,
back then was keen on inspecting the place firsthand to verify a story about magical deathclaws. Only person who seemed to care what happened to the miners from Redding was Melchior's son, Junior. He was just a tyke when
That was
his
his
dad
son.
disappeared. If he's still alive, he'd be middle-aged about now. Maybe still wandering the Wasteland looking for his dad. Since then, Marcus has done his best to give some of you a home. Among the mutants, every person is their own unique being, a species of one. That kind of genetic diversity is a blessing. There are places in the Wasteland where the opposite is true. Dozens of identical men caged together, consumed by a murderous rage against all outsiders.
Gary.
But that
Gary.
is a story for another day.
I remember that now. It was like one of the vault experiments. Like this guy, if I remember correctly, he was like cloned, but every single clone was like a lot darker and more evil or something. Yeah, now I remember. Gary. It was like one man with like so many duplicate clones in just the vault. But I really like the concept that the audience was mutants in that video. All right, the last one, Gary.
In a world ruled by swords, sorcery, and savages, one man became a legend. From the pages of the world's most popular
Grognak?
comic book to the screen.
Wait.
From the
Huber's Comics, Grognak the Barbarian. So it's like Conan the Barbarian in the lair of the Virgin Eater. Oh, and I guess that's the Virgin right there.
pages of the world's most popular comic book to the screen of your local drive-in comes Grognak, a warrior from the land of Prehistoria, embarks on an adventure beyond your wildest fantasies. Warrior, destroyer, conqueror. He is Grognak the Barbarian, featuring Zane Valoric as Scopocalypse, Vera Keys as Femra, and introducing Howard Braunschweiger as Grognak the Barbarian. Coming to a theater near you, Thanksgiving weekend 2077.
Interesting. Dot's Diner.
When the apocalypse was on the horizon, people became desperate to preserve civilization. For people who survived Armageddon inside a vault, life became an exercise
Wait, are those Garys?
in maintaining the status quo as much as possible, for as long as possible. Everyone was expected to do their part to keep the vault running until the time came for those doors to roll open. It wasn't a life for rebels. In some
Tunnel
vaults,
snakes
there was
rule.
so much conformity that they were all practically clones. And one vault ended up being literally full of clones. Yes, pre-war society had cloning technology, but it wasn't used much. At least 2 Vault-Tec facilities had it, though. Vault City was built by the inhabitants of Vault 8, and they used their cloning lab to create replacement organs and limbs for the injured and sick. That sort of miraculous medical technology helped Vault City become a major power in Northern California. But another vault out east had the most advanced cloning lab in the world. They could create a perfect copy of an adult human. Well, almost perfect. Vault 108 had some exceptional geneticists in their midst. And a
108.
fully stocked cloning lab. But cloning is a tricky business, and reproducing every single atom in a strand of DNA without error was tricky even for the finest minds of the pre-war era. Under the right conditions, they might have been able to populate their vault with an endless supply of cloned citizens. But it turns out that the good people of Vault 108 were the butt of one of Vault-Tech's little jokes. Their overseer was terminally ill at the time of the Great War. He'd been selected for the job specifically so that the Vault would suffer a sudden, inevitable loss of leadership. Perhaps the cloning efforts were somehow intended to compensate for their lack of leadership. Maybe they wanted to create fully formed adults in a lab and skip the difficulties of raising children. Whatever the reason, the leaders of Vault 108 decided to make extra copies of some guy.
Gary.
I don't think there was anything special about the man they picked, just a random occupant of the vault as a test subject. Logs on the Vault computer network indicate that they made at least 54 copies of the guy. Due to some unknown flaw in the process, each clone was completely hostile to any non-clone he met. They still kept cranking out new clones, and eventually they had an army of identical madmen imprisoned. And when they tried to dispose of them, they started running amok in their vault. There aren't any records about what happened next, but it's safe to assume that the clones wiped out their makers and shut themselves in. The doors to Vault 108 were open, and at least one of them was taken out of there. I saw his body in what was once Virginia, Bailey's Crossroads. It's been a while since I've been to Vault 108. It's where I found this little knick-knack. I don't know what it is about these things, but I swear, I'm somehow compelled to collect every last one. Anyway, Vault 108 is still out there, and it's filled with a pack of interchangeable lunatics calling out the one word they all know how to speak. Their own name. Larry. No, wait. I think it was Harry. Barry?
Gary?
Yep, that was it. You know, just north of that vault full of Garys, there's a town that had another pair of lunatics in it. Two dandies who pretended they were real-life superheroes. One of them even dressed like a villain from the old Grognak comics. But that is a story for another day. Come on, Edna. We got a big wasteland to explore.
I think I saw that before, though.
Gary? Gary? Gary?
Edna? Yeah, get out of there.
Gary! Gary! Gary!
Man, even Edna was freaked out. Okay, so these videos, well, I didn't go into them like completely blind. I mean, some of them, it just came back to me because I was like, Gary, who was that? But I remember Gary from the Vault experiment video that I saw from the channel Echo, and FEV. I was just like, I remember that acronym somewhere, but I just forgot it was the forced evolutionary virus. And cannibalism, that was pretty much self-explanatory, but I didn't know about the vampire group, and I didn't know about the survivalist at all. So the first two videos was kind of unknown, but FEV and Gary, it just took a little bit more details for me to like say, oh yeah, now I remember what they are. By the way, for at the end of the video right there, like two superheroes as he calls, I do remember seeing them somewhere in another video. I think it was like one of the season 1 videos the Storyteller had. But I think I just saw like images of them, so I didn't know what they were or who they are. But I guess now we're going to be jumping into who they are in the next video. But that's going to be another episode, guys. So that's all I got for today. So thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of The Storyteller. And also, thank you guys so much for watching. And make sure to hit that notification bell so you know when I drop the 3rd episode of season 2. And also shout out to all my members, subscribers, viewers. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your support, guys. I really do appreciate it. So without anything else, see you guys next time.